We're sitting here at the computer and we're looking at how to edit using GarageBand. We've already set up our project, but we want to do one more thing before we really start editing, and that's save our file and give it a name. So we should start by talking about what we mean by editing.
We want to make the video as tight and compelling in its story as possible. I cut as I listen the very first time because I do several rounds of audio editing. What I do the first time is I get rid of everything obvious. I get rid of the ums or breaths. Then on the second round, I'll tighten it up even more because by then I'll have a sense of the story and I may realize there's a whole passage that we don't really want to get into, and I'll get rid of those big areas, and I may even move something around. And on the third pass, I'll usually just do some more fine-tuning.
But because Smarthistory has a conversational style, we don't usually move big chunks of things around. We try to keep the conversation as natural as possible. So now we're really ready to dig in.
So now I'm going to click here to go back to the very beginning of the audio and hit the space bar to play.
Museum of Art, looking at Pablo Picasso's portrait of Gertrude Stein. This is an early painting.
Steven said this dates and then decided to say this is an early painting instead. So I'm going to get rid of this dates. I'm going to go back here, put my playhead here, a little bit back in time, and hit the space bar to hit play again.
Of Gertrude Stein.
Okay, so this section here is the words this dates. This little bump here is Steven's breath just before he says this dates. So I actually want to take that little breath too. Now, the most important thing to notice is the different things I can do with my cursor. You'll notice that when I put my cursor down here on this bottom part of the sound signature, it turns into a cross shape. When I bring it up here, it turns into an arrow.
We use the crosshairs for selecting parts of the audio that we want to edit, and we use the arrow to move those parts around. So you've selected the audio that you want to delete.
And now I want to cut it out. So to do that, I'm going to not have it a cross shape anymore, but I'm going to make it an arrow. And I'm going to click once. And you can see that this is now a separate section, and I can either delete it or I can drag.
And dragging a clip will overwrite whatever is under it. We can also use the top pane where we're more zoomed out to make larger scale edits where we move big chunks of the audio around and rearrange them if necessary.
If you ever make a mistake, you can always hit Command Z, and you can hit Command Z as many times as you want as long as you haven't saved.
One last adjustment you may need to make is what we call audio levels, or the volume of the audio, and you do that simply by moving this slider over on the left. And ideally this audio meter is going to show some orange and maybe a tiny bit of red just on the loudest parts of the audio.
So when you're all done, what you may have is a lot of little pieces that look like this. To export the file, so I have something I can use, I'm going to go up to Share and choose Export Song to Disk. And there you go. Now it's exporting it as an MP3 file, which then I can import into the video software that we use to make Smarthistory videos.